It was derived through a completely new method that previously did not exist. The fullerene content here is also unusual and makes up about 20%. Its content can be judged by its color. How can its content be judged by its color? Explain in detail for those people who don't understand anything about this issue. The more pink, the more reddish-purple, the greater the fullerene content, which is named starting from 60, because it has 60 carbon atoms. Here we get a practically clean product, with certain byproducts that break off during the reaction process. This method is different from existing ones in that, to speak generally, it has no rigid limitations in output capacity, which means that the task of creating an industrial synthesis of fullerene has practically been resolved by us. All that's left is a small amount of technical problems which we'll solve in the near future. We were the only ones who solved the industrial issue, right? As far as I know, yes. There are a few other groups in the world approaching it, but they have other methods, so I can't pass any judgment on their future. How long did it take for you to flesh out this method? Well, you know, I've been working on this for 5 years. I spent the last 2 years working directly on this method. And how long have you been working with Viktor Ivanovich? I've been working with Viktor Ivanovich on all sorts of different things for a long time, but here we realize that the synthesis of fullerene is taking place. Understood the theory, made mathematical calculations on it, and this method was created basically on that basis. Please tell me, having worked with Viktor Ivanovich for many years, what can you say about him? I can only say that there isn't a single prophet in my country. Viktor Ivanovich is probably the greatest scientist currently working in Russia. I don't want to offend anyone, but you have to understand that I started following Viktor Ivanovich's technical methods many years ago. A few absolutely fantastic samples came my way, and when I realized how they were made, I understood that the person making them is supremely talented. I know how he works, and I know 90% of what was made by him, really made by him. It's an unbelievable result for science. Usually 10% of them work, and 90% are just present at the time. Thank you.
Мы находимся во Всероссийском научно-исследовательском институте.
We're at the Vologdin Institute of Scientific Investigation of High-Frequency Currents. Our hosts are the people currently in charge of this institute. Introduce yourselves, please. My name is Felix Vasilievich Bezmenov. I'm the General Director of the Institute, Doctor of Technical Sciences, and academician of the St. Petersburg Academy of Engineering. Next to me is my Vice Director, our Scientific and Technical Director, Vladimir Nikolaevich Ivanov. He is also a Doctor of Technical Sciences and an academician of the St. Petersburg Academy of Engineering. Well, our institute was created in 1947. Its creation was linked with the development of advanced technology at the time for the use of high-frequency current for various ends, strengthening, melting, and softening metal. Later, thanks to the efforts of the people working at the Institute and the advancement of science and technology in general, absolutely new directions arose, which, as I see it, are even today quite new and advanced. The Institute has developed many methods in relation to them. Felix Vasilievich, I beg your pardon for interrupting you, but our visit today has to do with the fact that you witnessed Viktor Ivanovich Petrik's involvement in the solution of such important, not just state issues, but global issues. What can you say about that?
Я не могу даже сказать государственных проблем, но проблем мирового уровня. Что вы можете сказать по этому поводу?
Well, I actually wanted to. What happened there was a very unusual but contemporary phenomenon.
В некоторой степени случайно.
We became acquainted accidentally to a certain degree. Viktor Ivanovich Petrik, what can I say about him? He's a lone fighter, a man in himself.
Такой борец-одиночка,
Unnatural.
частное лицо, по сути дела, но талантливый
But a
человек.
talented person.
Вот о нашем взаимодействии с Виктором
I also feel that in our working relationship with Viktor Ivanovich Petrik, well, he's an individual and we're a state entity, but nonetheless we found a good approach to each other and everything will be fine.
Хороший подход друг к другу, и все там будет нормально. Но здесь еще другая сторона. Мы
Here there's another aspect. We have great mastery of these very electromagnetic fields, of the hardware aspect of this issue, whereas he knows the materials.
А он материал.
And I think that that synthesis of two elements will be great for us and for Russia as well.
Я думаю, что это будет очень здорово и для нас, и для России тоже.
Тут я хотел добавить, что мы оказались готовы к тому, чтобы сотрудничать.
I wanted to add that we found ourselves ready to work with him.
А у нас оказалось
He's an engineer and we had the equipment that he needs to carry out this technology.
Мы с ним уже наметили целый ряд.
We've already mapped out a whole series of processes, and that's without saying that some of them are already functional, but we've already talked about them.
Например, совсем неожиданное, мы не говорили об этом сегодня, но, например,
For example, completely unexpectedly, we didn't talk about this today, but it's likely that we'll start low-level manufacturing of germanium, monocrystallic germanium.
испытывается в мире этого материала, а мы
There's also a very high deficit in the world of that material. We're prepared for it because we have a whole complex of equipment set up and we know how to use it. We have the documentation and we can make it.
стороны мы подходили к одним.
We approach the same problems from different sides. Viktor Ivanovich as a chemist, a physicist, and we as people who have the equipment, who have what I already said about the interaction between the electromagnetic field and all of this.
Владеют, ну вот то, что я уже говорил, взаимодействие электромагнитного поля со всеми этими делами.
And probably in that sense, nothing happens by chance, and we naturally came together. And I think that we'll work well together. I have no doubt about it.
И я думаю, что мы будем хорошо сотрудничать. Никаких сомнений нет в этом. Ну, я могу только повторить. Нам
I can only repeat that I feel that we're mutually fortunate, both Viktor Ivanovich and us, that we met. And those things that we discussed give us the basis to consider that we'll really be able to successfully and rather quickly carry out all these ideas, all the way to industrial manufacturing, to industrial use.
можем успешно и достаточно быстро довести его, вот все эти идеи до промышленного производства, до промышленного исполнения. А кроме того, нам-то как институту
Moreover, as an institute, as we already said, there is mutual fertilization. Him as a chemist and physicist, and thus with that electromagnetic field, the equipment will also provide us an impulse for the creation of good industrial complexes that will bring glory to Russia.
аппаратура, это тоже даст импульс для создания, я думаю, что просто хороших таких комплексов промышленных, которые будут прославлять Россию.
Мне кажется, что
I feel that for us, this is truly success. They'll be able to use our findings in a new field that's both effective and very necessary to people.
и очень эффективный и очень нужный людям.
Дай Бог
Thank you.
удачи. Да.
Thank you. Thank you for our meeting and for all the good things happening between us. Good luck to you.